All right, guys, welcome to once again another wait for Dana White to make some news announcements. We could be waiting anywhere between 2 minutes, a minute, any second now. Maybe I get the notification right as I, start streaming, which would be amazing. We could hop right into it. Or it could be 4-5 hours. We really don't know. And I know in this stream I'm going to get a lot of what is when is it going to come out? When is the news going to come out? Because anytime I do these streams, I get 50,000 chats. I've actually already have received some comments. I'm not going to lie. I posted this live. I've tweeted about the live. I've already gotten some asks, already some questions. When is it going to be? Guys, please. I know I'm going to say this, and it's going to be asked anyway. I don't know. I really do not know. I'm going to probably pin a comment, honestly, because people are really, I'm going to do it actually right now. I don't know when the fight announcements will be. I'm going to do this. Okay. I know as much as you guys do. Okay. So, I'm going to pin this comment. I just pinned the comment and said, I don't know when the fight announcements will be. I know as much as you guys do. And like I said, this is the truth. I really, I wish I knew, guys. Then maybe we could. Last time we were waiting 4 hours for a shite announcement. It was not a good time. However, Dana White has promised this time, claiming that this is going to be the next 9 events. Now, I will show you guys what I do want to show you guys on my screen in a little bit. I'm going to show you guys, but it's kind of people saying, well, maybe this is just some bullshit. Maybe Dana White doesn't really have anything to announce because the next 9 events are pretty much revealed. And another interesting detail is UFC BJJ is going on. At first I was like, damn, I really don't think they're going to announce it until after it started 30 minutes ago, or 40 minutes ago, pretty much now. Originally, I was like, are they going to wait till the end of the event? However, I'm starting to think maybe not. Maybe what's going to happen is, maybe they're going to try to announce it during the event just to drive some attention. And they could be like, oh, UFC BJJ is on right now. Co-main event is starting, something like that. That would make sense. Hopefully that's the case, because if that is the case, then we're looking at maybe an hour. However, if we are waiting until the end of this event, we could be in for a long haul. Or it could be, like I said, any minute. We really don't know. My main concern is, look, fuck the wait, whatever. I'll wait. Is it going to be something worth it? Is it going to be something that we're actually hyped about? Because, look, I don't think, is anybody even excited for UFC announcements anymore? It's more like, oh God, am I going to be waiting here for nothing? You know what I'm saying? That is more what we've gotten, more disappointment to the fact that we are no longer looking forward to announcements. Like, I've seen most people complain about announcements. That's how crazy it is, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to try to find this thing where they broke down the next 7 events. Someone in the Discord, and guys joined the Discord, said that they're watching UFC BJJ. I say multitask, multi-screen, but it is what it is. What could we say, huh? Next 9 events it was, right? So I'm trying to find this post. It was a post that someone made detailing the next 9 events. Okay, so here's a tweet. This isn't exactly what I was talking about, but it will suffice for right now. This is from, shout out to the MMA matchmaker, whatever, right? Next 9 events is obviously this weekend. Okay, because this is what he said, the next 9 events. Now, I was hoping that I'm really hoping that there is, that he was not being literal. Like, I was kind of hoping like he meant the next 9 events that he, best case scenario, the next 9 events that he already announced. You know what I'm saying? Like, 9 new events is what I was hoping he meant. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was hoping he meant. It could be completely wrong, but let's see, guys. Let's see. So, we have obviously this weekend, and Emma Valahos is the equivalent to school breakfast. It's not good, and you'll still take it. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know at this point who's going to even take it. I would love to know the viewership on this thing, honestly. I'm sure Paramount Plus is like, what in God's name are we doing here? We're having fights at a warehouse right now. So, But yeah, no. So here we are. So we have obviously this weekend, UFC London, which we know. We know the main event, pretty much the whole card. We know UFC Seattle as well. Moicano versus Duncan, we know the main event for. Obviously, it's that fight, unless they change it or something like that. We have the next pay-per-view, April 11th. Blah, blah, blah. You guys can read it on your own. I don't really feel like going through the whole list here. But UFC 328 is what I'm hoping at least we will get. I mean, I'm assuming. I would hope, right? And what's interesting is there has been a lot of rumors, especially yesterday. There was a ton of rumors that Sean Strickland's getting the title shot. That is going to happen in Newark, New Jersey. It's a pretty quick turnaround for Sean Strickland. What he fought 2 weeks ago. That's like, what is that? Like 3 months, pretty much. Which, you know, it's pretty short. It's about the same turnaround though that he had when he fought Adesanya. You know what I'm saying? When he fought Adesanya, he came off. Remember, he fought at the Apex, like. Not 4 weeks. It was like, what, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 6, 7 weeks? No, but it was like, I don't know. It was like 6, 10, something around there. I don't know. It was like in July. He fought Adesanya. I think it was like the first weekend in September. So that was a very, very short time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that much in between. So could he get it done? I mean, who knows? I don't think so. I think that probably Hamza Chimaev would rip him apart, I think. But what do you guys think? I don't know. But why I brought this up was these are the next 9 these are the next 9 events. Okay, so if we were to take him at his word, there isn't really much news. Like, is he recapping? Is he, announcing some undercard fights? Is he gonna announce maybe just at the end of the day UFC 328? Was it just to get headlines? I mean, I don't understand what would be the thought process of saying, I'm going to announce 9 events just to announce basically one new thing, because, oh my God, like the UFC fans have been so pissed off, including myself, about just the disappointment about the fact that they haven't really been able to get these big fights done, and that it seems like there's always some sort of error, there's always some sort of roadblock, and everything is just more difficult. And just to keep doing it and to create now hype when you don't even have anything to announce is crazy. It's crazy. So if we were to take him at his word, there isn't so much to be announced, but I'm personally hoping, I'm not saying I think this is the case, I'm hoping he meant 9 events. I'm hoping that we get some, main events in May. Maybe we'll get some main events I guess we have all the April main events. Maybe we'll confirm, because I don't think the Aljo Zalal thing was confirmed by UFC, so maybe he'll announce that. I think JDM Prochas was confirmed by UFC, right? I think during the broadcast at some point, on one of the broadcasts, I think they confirmed it. So a lot of this is confirmed by the UFC. So I don't know. I think I'm hoping he meant 9 events. Maybe they'll throw Aljo's. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be actually 9. I think it'll be a W if we get like 3. You know what I'm saying? 3 big pieces of news. Like, okay, like I'll consider that a W. I'm not actually expecting 9, and I'm not going to hold them to it. But can it not just be, if it's just Hamzat versus Sean Strickland and a so-so co-main event, a so-so card with it, we're not going to care. Now, will they announce International Fight Week? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that we're kind of deep from it. It's like, although what is this? 4 months? Yeah, that's pretty deep. That's pretty deep. They don't typically announce fights that long, so I don't think we'll get an International Fight Week. We might get, like I said, a few main events perhaps in June. I mean, June is 3 months away now. Man, this year, so far we're flying by. We're already like a quarter into the year. We're already like a quarter in at this fucking point. I mean, how is the UFC doing Q1 of Paramount Plus? Pretty tough. I'm curious if Paramount Plus is going to step in and say, hey, buddy, like, there's all this fucking bad press about you guys not making any fights. Oh, look, I found the actual post, by the way, of the official events. But that Paramount Plus is like, yo, look, we've been paying you how much fucking money, and you're not doing shit with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're paying you how much a year? $1.1 billion a year, and you're not doing anything. So, it's tough. Like I said, it is tough. We'll see what happens. But we'll be live. We'll be waiting. And all of that. And so I hope it's some big news. 2 big fights. No, that's old. What the fuck? I looked up 9 events, And I found like an old fight announcement. But let's get into something else, because I do want to address something else, because I did say in the comment section that I would address this. We're talking about Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. My last video was about the fact I was pretty critical about Islam. Okay, I said Islam Makhachev, I felt like ducked Ilia, right? And I'm not a type of guy that throws around duck and this and that. You guys don't really see me, oh, this guy ducked this guy ducked. I'm pretty fair, you know what I'm saying? I like to say I don't really... I think most of the time people aren't ducking people. Jon Jones, I think, did duck Tom Aspinall. I'll say that. But Islam here, I mean, I want more details on the injury. I mean, if this is seriously an injury where he's like, damn, I really cannot train. I can't walk. I can't throw punches. I can't do this. Okay, I understand. Whatever, fine. If it's seriously something like that you literally cannot compete, fine. But fighting Ilia Topuria is just a massive super fight that the fans want. And this is what I'm trying to say. Islam doing that, he doesn't care about the fans. And some people will say he doesn't have to care about the fans. Okay, but then why do the fans in return then have to care about him is my point, right? So I don't understand what we can't just, I feel like I could be critical of him not taking a fight, right? If he doesn't care about the fans by not taking the fight. Am I bugging with this? Am I crazy in this logic? All right. I was critical of Islam Makhachev. Ilia Topuria, I thought was a boss. I was very complimentary of him. I said, yo, Ilia bossed up. He was willing to take the fight at welterweight. Literally. And that's the thing about this. Even if it's not just a situation where if this was Michael Morales, Ian Gary, or it was just a fun welterweight fight, even if it was against, I don't know, what I'm trying to think of a really good welterweight fight that we would have wanted to see at welterweight for Islam. There isn't that super fight there. But if there was, that was Ilia Topuria level, I'm fine. Okay, don't even do it. But why I think it's kind of bullshit is Ilia is coming up in weight. A year ago, he was fighting at 145 pounds. He didn't fight at 145 pounds, but you get what I'm saying. He was the champ, I think, at this point a year ago. Ilia is just out chasing Islam. I disagree. I'll get into it, but let me finish my thought, and then we'll talk about it. So like I said, no, but my thing is, look, Islam was, even if Islam's injured, right, unless this is seriously an injury where he cannot move, he can't walk, he can't train, if it's something like that, that's obviously a different story. But if it's anything else that's just maybe a typical fighter injury, which I believe it could be very well, especially if he's going to wind up fighting International Fight Week, which we've heard so many rumors about there being at this point, that now all of a sudden there's an injury. I don't know, bro. I'm not saying he's faking an injury. I do believe that there's an injury. I'm just questioning, is the injury more riskier than Ilia Topuria having to go up to 170 on short notice? I mean, this is 3 months. Typically, we see fighters at the least get 6 months. Look at Jon Jones, bro. Before he went to heavyweight, the guy took years to go up to heavyweight. I mean, we've seen guys, even Max Holloway recently when he went up against Justin Gaethje at UFC 300, he took so long to build up to that weight class. He said himself that he had so much notice because he wanted to build up to that weight. And we're not seeing that against Ilia. Ilia, this is a one and done. This is a Ilia that's just not going to basically cut weight. It's going to be a heavy Ilia, a less fit Ilia, if we're going to be honest. It's going to be Ilia that's going to get more tired because he's not, he hasn't built into that physique. You know what I'm saying? It's just extra him. You know what I'm saying? He's just not cutting weight, which isn't good. You want to build on the muscle and then, bulk it off, or not bulk it off, cut it off. What the hell? Shows what I know. Ilia is just clout chasing Islam. I don't believe so, and that's where we'll get into it. We see Makhachev 1 day notice versus money. Title def in line, Money Moicano. I don't know what that means, but I don't think, is Dana late? I mean, Dana isn't late necessarily. He didn't say a time. He just said later today. And keep in mind, in Vegas, we talked about this last time, but it's 5:50, so we got time. But I don't really get what you mean about the Money Moicano thing. But, however, there is some news revolving this whole thing. So I made my video where I was very critical of Islam and very complimentary of Ilia, and I saw a lot of comments criticizing me now because there was this new update to the story where I'm going to get it right now for you guys so I could show you guys what happened. But maybe if I can't find it, I'll just tell you guys. But Ilia Topuria's manager, Maki Kawa, he did an interview. Yeah, I can't find it, but he did an interview where he was detailing the negotiation with the UFC, where he says on Wednesday, and I'm going to break down the timeline for you because it is confusing. I will say Makhachev, the way he made it sound, I do get why people were kind of tripping up and stuff like that, what he was saying. But basically on Wednesday, he said he talked to the UFC, and the UFC presented him, the options. They were like, would you rather Islam or would you rather Justin, right? And then I guess they immediately said, no, we want Islam. This is what everyone agrees upon. And they did a little negotiating, and they were like, hell no, we're not taking that number. There was a number offered. Well, we'll get into that. Then he admitted this on a podcast, Makhachev. Now people are saying, oh my God, Ilia ducked Islam. Ilia is almost like Ilia is making this up, that he wasn't going to fight Islam, that he ducked the fight, and that he posted that thing on Twitter where criticizing Islam just for clout, whatever. But that's not the case, okay? Because the truth is this, and Makhachev did confirm. I will show you guys the tweet now, so you guys could see it. So here it is. So Makhachev responds to a lot of the people saying this and says, well, we actually said no to both because the numbers were too low. That's correct. But then when they came back Friday, we asked for Islam, and we were told he was hurt. So Justin was the only option at that point. We asked for Islam. So basically what happened, for those of you guys maybe that didn't catch it, is that on Wednesday, they get offered Islam, Justin. They do a little negotiation for both. They reject both the Justin Gaethje deal and an Islam Makhachev deals only for the money. On Friday, they contact the UFC. They talk about the UFC. They bring up Islam. They're like, yo, what's happening with Islam? Let's do it. They say Islam's hurt. So 1,000% Ilia was down to fight. You know what I'm saying? And to be fair, we don't know the difference in pay. Now, maybe we'll find out a detail where, I don't know, I'm making up numbers here. I have no idea how much Ilia Topuria gets paid. I'm not trying to even speculate because I would have no clue. But let's say that Ilia Topuria gets paid $5 million, okay? Now, let's say he was like, okay, $5 million, I'll fight for Justin Gaethje, and he's like, $25 million, I'll fight Islam. Okay, that's a different story. But if it's, look, Islam's a super fight. Give me, even if it's $5 million to $10 million, I don't think that's crazy to ask for, especially it's a negotiation. At the end of the day, you're also going to ask for more. So, I mean, this is early onset negotiations. If we're going to say, early negotiations and somebody just, declines the first number is ducking, I mean, I think then everybody in the sport is a duck at that point, right? Because everybody, that's just normal negotiation. So, not at all. It is not, people were commenting, and I said I would address it here, and people were saying, oh, I'm glazing this. It's not the case. Clearly, the facts agree with me here, and I want to see what you guys have been saying. So like I said, yeah, Dana is not late. He just said later today, so we'll find out. I saw people already complaining. Why doesn't he say a time? I don't know, guys. I don't know why. I wish he would. It would be nice to get a time, rough estimate, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Bro, how do I start a YouTube channel? You inspired me. Well, look, I appreciate it, and I definitely think you should start a YouTube channel. All you got to do is just, I don't know. I mean, pick whatever you would want to do YouTube channel on. Just go for it. You record, figure out what you want, and do it. I feel like that's it, right? You just record. If it's just a voice, if it's a video, But yeah, no, guys. Bro, this link shows Topuria's hypocrisy. What link? Gaethje hold interim for what? Gaethje, I mean, dude, and you know what I'm also wondering? By the way, I was wondering this. If Ilia Topuria would have agreed, let's just say that the Topuria and Islam fight happened. Let's just say that that was a done deal and actually was made for the White House by some miracle. Would that make Justin the undisputed lightweight champ? And if they do that, would they do a co-main event, Justin Gaethje as a lightweight champ versus someone? Reason why I'm saying this is because the UFC has this new policy where he can't be a double champ. He can't be two champs at the same time. Now, this seems like a very different circumstance where it's kind of like the UFC are kind of calling him for the favor here. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Topuria wants to go to 170. I think they were like, hey, look, my opinion is this. I think what happened was this. I think that they tried to make Jon Jones versus Pereira. I think they couldn't get it done. The numbers were just too off. Jon Jones wanted apparently like around 30 million. and apparently the UFC were offering close to like $15 million what Conor Benn was paid. They disagreed completely. I think after that, they're like, okay, we need something to get the fans. We need something that's going to really give us some good PR going into this. And they wanted a shock. They were like, no one would expect Islam versus Ilia. So I think that's why they went so hard at Islam versus Ilia, but ultimately it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, the fight could not be done. And then I think they were just like, all right, we'll go with Justin Gaethje, you know? And, you know, I don't know. Like, I think it was good. I think they tried to still give us that shock with, Pereira in the co-main event. I'm not as much of a hater of the White House card as some people are. I understand the disappointment just because, you know, there isn't necessarily that super fight, and they did hype it up. But my expectations were never really that high, just because I feel like the UFC has let us down multiple times, and I've been talking about for weeks, and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen with this White House card, but I don't think it's going to pan out really good. I was expecting, really realistically, like a month ago, I was expecting Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje, and then maybe like a few maybe like at best co-main event, Colby Covington versus Bo Nickel. You know what I'm saying? Which isn't a great co-main event, but that was my expectation for their card. I thought it was just going to be like chump fights like that, you know, like dumb fights on the co-main event that were like, all right, decent names, but okay, like the gimmick is just the White House. But they actually, I felt like, made a good card. You know, maybe outside of the title fights, could there have been, I think, one extra little pop? Sure. There could have been, but I don't hate it. Let me see what you guys are saying, though. Shame, who falling for this? I don't know what you mean by a 155 current holder is still Islam. The belt take from Charlie. No, he's a 170, so he's gone from there. Who you got? Yuri versus Olberg and Van versus Tyra. I don't know why I said Tara. Whoops. Van versus Tyra. Okay, so for Yuri versus Olberg, I don't know. I'm going to go with Yuri just because I feel like I always doubt Yuri. And Olberg, I feel like he hasn't looked so impressive to me, so I think that Yuri's going to win that. And Van and Tyra, I don't know. That one's tricky. But, I don't know. I think maybe Van. Van has been looking really good, and he's got a lot of momentum going into it. But I think it'll be a good fight. I think I'm going to go with Van. I think he's going to thug it out. But I don't know. I want to look at the tape a little bit as well, as I usually do fight week. But, yeah, no. We'll see, guys. And I hope that we get some good announcements. I hope that I think we'll get May's pay-per-view. I think that's pretty much a guarantee. I would hope that's a guarantee. What do you guys think will be the May pay-per-view? Okay, let's actually talk about that because there are a few options. As I said, let's actually just talk about the available options. There's Sean Strickland versus, my opinion is I think it's going to be Hamza versus Sean Strickland. That's my prediction just because there was rumors yesterday. It makes sense. There's been a few reports I've seen about it at this point. I think Magic M MMA Bets reported on it. And by the way, I have notifications on. When Dana White is live, I'm going to put it on the screen as well. We'll hear it. Thank God also, it seems like that this live is at a studio. Maybe we're done with Dana White Instagram lives. Maybe we're done with the shitty quality. Please, thank you. Do not. Maybe they also announced another White House card. There was some rumors. I think Ariel Helwani reported that there might be another one added. So maybe they're going to add a big fight to the White House. Hopefully. That would be really big. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Maybe it'll be a title fight. You think that's possible, a title fight? I heard some people speculating could it be Aljo versus Volkanovski, but obviously Aljo has a fight. So that's not going to happen, but that was earlier in the week. Why Sean, though? I don't know. I just think because he has a big name, and I think they're like, we need something, man. We need something, some PR, which I don't even think it'll get good PR. You know, the UFC, I feel like the UFC just always will get criticism. However, this time is very much warranted. It's very much deserved. I mean, they are, it is like. Because even this, it's just so tone deaf, okay, is anybody going to really be like, oh, Sean Strickland's getting a title shot, what the fuck? No one's going to give a fuck about that, okay? And the UFC think that we're going to accept this as an apology for the White House card or something like that. Get the fuck out of here, And I'm not even a guy that hates on the White House card all that much. I think it had some good fights. I think the main and co-main event are personally very crazy. I think it's crazy to have Pereira and it's crazy to have Ilia on the same card. Shout out. I think it's a good card, and at least they tried. However, I mean, it's just sad to me that really, at the end of the day, the UFC could have had these. They really could have had Jones versus Pereira. They got $30 million at their disposal. Think about how many times probably Jon Jones was underpaid. And I'm not even a Jon Jones fan, you know? But think about how many times he's been, like, underpaid. Give him his pay. This is his last fight. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, I generally think that the UFC don't like to pay their fighters that much because they want them to be desperate enough to take, like, short notice opportunities or fight regularly. Like, they don't want them to get too comfortable where they're fighting once a year and then they're vacating, not fighting, retiring, blah, blah, blah. I personally think that. But Jon Jones, come on, realistically, this guy's not going to fight that many times. You retired him for good. You said the guy fucking has hip injuries and should never fight again. I mean, you buried him, good luck. You're supposed to be his promoter. It should be Volk versus Lopez 3, yeah. That's the first joke of Volk versus Lopez, but I'm sure we'll be getting another 50 of those by the end of the night. I hope he goes live at 12 a.m. this time. I definitely do not hope. I hope it's not 12 a.m. Diego versus Steve is a good fight. It is a good fight. I was a little confused. I was surprised I was on there, but it is a good fight. I agree. Not bad at all. What do you guys think about this? We didn't really talk about this on the channel that much, but this Gina Carano x Ronda Rousey matchup that's going on. MVP, I mean, with Francis Ngannou now, with Philip Leams or something? I mean, what's going on with this? Francis Ngannou making his return to MMA. And like I said, honestly, my hope with this I actually am rooting for MVP. I'm rooting for Jake Paul. I'm turning into a Jake Pauler here because I'm hoping that maybe he actually is like, you know what, let me put on a few MMA events. Now, do I think that he's going to like succeed in the long run? No, I don't think so. I don't think that they can compete. I think that UFC is good, and I think if they lock in, they're going to be good. But truth be told, like, there's a huge, like, discrepancy in pay, and it's just getting more and more obvious. And honestly, them getting into boxing, it's really highlighted it even more. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's like we're seeing Zuffa pay guys like Conor Benn a crazy fee for being on a co-main event where, the guy's a co-main event, and more people probably know who Sean O'Malley is, or even Jon Jones or Conor McGregor than Conor Benn. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even, it's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be wrong. Okay, I live in America. I understand he's probably bigger, obviously, in the UK, but I still stand by this. I think if you were to rate their popularity, I mean, Conor Benn, do you guys think Conor McGregor is getting paid $15 million? I honestly don't know, and that's sad. I really don't know. He could be getting paid more. I don't know, to be honest. I really have no idea. I could not guess these guys' pay because I feel like sometimes it's just, I'm always shocked. Sometimes it's shockingly like, oh, damn, that's actually not bad. And sometimes it's like, oh, wow, that's harsh. That's crazy. You're paying them for the fucking, I don't know, you're charging them for the hotel or whatever. I think they get charged for hotels and shit. Francis Ngannou and Philip Lins. Yeah, that's the fight that's going to be taking place at the co-main event. Like I said, if MVP can kind of build this, at the end of the day, all you got to do is this. If you just make good fights, that's all. You got Francis Ngannou now. Well, obviously this isn't like an organization, so I don't think they have him signed to multiple fights. But you have Ngannou, potentially, that probably would be interested. But he's probably going to be hard to work with, and I'm not saying in a bad way, as many probably people would. I'm just saying in the fact that he's going to want a lot of money. Like, he's not going to be like, oh, I mean, although who knows? But also he has beef with Jake Paul. I was going to say maybe he can be like, oh, you know what, fuck it, we'll get back at Dana White. But he's not exactly in good favor with Jake because Jake has been going at him pretty hard. So yeah. But if they actually build up a little bit of their resume and this and that, who knows? Maybe they could actually be a threat. Maybe they could actually, maybe get the UFC a little fired up and say, we need to lock in. We need to keep these guys. We need to make good fights. And more importantly as well, probably increase the pay. It'll probably wind up increasing the pay because there's more competition. Let me just turn this. All right, let me see. Paying Conor Benn and Jon Jones, me. I don't know what that means, but apparently they're going to be paid the same. So that's pretty crazy. And who knows? I mean, Francis Ngannou is probably getting paid a whole lot. And that's a thing that's really interesting about this Jon Jones stuff, right? Is Jon Jones is asking to be released from the UFC. But, I mean, if he gets released, he's probably going to get some sort of MMA fight outside and probably get paid more. So the guy is going to be outside. The UFC don't want that. The UFC, because Jon Jones has a claim to say he's the best in the world right now. He does. And I'm not saying I agree with it, but he does have like a claim because the guy's never lost in MMA. He's beaten everybody in the UFC, and he retired a UFC champion, and it's not even that long ago. So I don't think the UFC want that because, and another promotion can say, well, we actually have the best heavyweight in the world, and he retired the champ, blah, blah, blah. You can give the whole thing like that, and especially if he wins and continues winning, it could really hurt the UFC, so they're not going to want him released, especially now with Jake Paul and MVP. I personally don't think Jon Jones would take a Francis Ngannou fight. I don't think he would because I think he doesn't want to take fights where he's going to lose. I think it was clear as day with the Tom Aspinall situation. Maybe he would have back then. Maybe he would have in 2021. I don't know. Maybe he would have. But at least now, I don't think he would. It doesn't make sense, and especially at like MVP. However, unless maybe the bag will just be undeniably too much. But I don't know. I think he turned down $30 million for Tom Aspinall in the UFC. You know, I think that I don't know. I don't think you're gonna get any more than that. You know, I think if $30 million is like you're gonna turn down a fight with Tom Aspinall, Francis Ngannou is even more dangerous than Tom Aspinall. And I'm not saying I think Tom Aspinall is better, but he's more dangerous in the way that like, there's a good chance you're gonna end up knocked out cold in the first minute. You know what I'm saying? Because he hits hard, and it's you could literally never be the same again, and you don't want to get knocked out. So. I mean, let's say you get paid $50 million. I mean, are you really going to turn down $30 million but say, okay, yeah, $50 million? I mean, is someone going to pay him like $100 million? That would be insane. $100 million? I mean, maybe at $100 million he would fucking take. I have no idea. But point is that they realistically could do Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones, and that is terrible for the UFC. Terrible. We are Venom. Yeah, shout out to Venom. Big up Venom. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? Francis will start Jones. Well, I agree. I think so as well. If I were to take a pick, I would pick Francis Ngannou. But given right now, especially with Jon Jones in his hip, I actually kind of agree with Dana White in a weird way about the hip. Like, I kind of was thinking the same thing. Like, I think he's done. If the guy has a fucking hip that, is so bad that, he can't even, like, it's probably time to hang it up. I was thinking the same thing, but I was just shocked he said it because you're essentially shutting down and any possibility of him fighting. And now Jon Jones has every right to say, well, then release me. I have the right to fight. If you don't want to have me fight, then release me. So what does that mean? Will he fight for the UFC again? Because let's be real. Obviously, UFC's not going to release him. I'm sure the contract expires at some point. If the UFC, if the contract expires, then obviously Jon Jones would be free. But who knows when it'll expire? He is already how old now? It could expire well into his early 40s, maybe mid 40s. I don't know how old he is, to be honest. He's like 38 or something, right? Let me see. Let me see. He's 38 years old. He's turning 39 in July. So, I mean, dude, at the end of the day, the UFC could hold him for a long time. We got no update from Dana White. No nothing. We'll see, guys. Who knows? Let me see. Any updates? Any news? Let's react to some news. Okay, let's also talk about this. That, UFC officially announces that UFC 328 is going to be taking place in Newark, New Jersey. Shout out, right by me. Obviously, I'm in New York, but Newark, New Jersey, not too far from me. Will I be going? Probably not, because they have absolutely priced fans out to a point where it's like, I would never go to this event. This is crazy. But no, in all seriousness, not a surprise. There was mad rumors that it was going to be in Newark, and they've gone in gone in May, pretty similarly in the past around this time frame. They've gone in June as well. So yeah, we'll see. And that's the card that I think will probably get announced. Let's talk about other possibilities. I think it'll be Sean Strickland, Khamzat Chimaev. There also is Khamzat Nasruddin Imavov, which, I don't know. I don't think that's what the UFC want. I don't think that's what the UFC want. So I think it'll probably be Sean Strickland and Khamzat. But who else is there? So flyweight is out. Obviously, flyweight's out. You got because they're fighting next month. Bantamweight. I don't think Petr Yan. I guess could it be Petr Yan versus Merab? Is that possible, you think, guys? Do they call him Merab and ask, hey, can you do co-main event? They hit us with Sean Strickland versus Khamzat, Merab versus... That would be a dope card, Merab versus Yan 3. And then you also have Sean Strickland versus Khamzat. That's funny. Merab and Sean Strickland on one side. That would be an epic press conference. That would be really fun. That would be a fun press conference. I would like that. Potentially, it could happen. But Merab... There's no indication that he would fight soon, but that would, I think, make a splash. That would definitely be a good event. And then if you add something really good under it, you could do that. But that's definitely, I would look out for that. Who knows? Maybe we can get an announcement on Merab versus Petr Yan 3. Let me see what you guys saying. Yo, what's up, brother? What MMA podcast you follow? I always say this. I don't really listen to any other really MMA people. So none really, I would say. I watch interviews and stuff, but you have a very nice voice. No Diddy. I appreciate it. It would have been no Diddy until you said no Diddy. Now it seems like it is Diddy. Very Diddy, but I appreciate the compliment anyway. We also have obviously Islam Makhachev. Where is he? Now if Islam gets announced for May 9th, that's going to cause a riot. But I think we could pretty much confirm that's not going to be the case, right? Because Islam is injured, so we can rule him out. Who else did we miss? Volkanovski, I guess. But I don't think Volkanovski is going to fight in Newark. And he probably is going to fight Movsar versus Lerone Murphy, which hasn't happened yet. So... MMA Joey and Ariel, is that what you listen to? And your thing got retracted. I was about to read it, but it got retracted before my very eyes. But yeah, so it guess it could be Volkanovski, but I don't think so, given the fact so it's not him. We have bantamweight as possibility, middleweight, obviously welterweight's out. We just said heavyweight's out because they're fighting next month. Heavyweight is out because we know that there's an interim. And there's some female fights. There could be Mackenzie Dern in a title defense, Natalia Silva versus Valentina Shevchenko. That's definitely in the works. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, I guess that's it. Because obviously Kayla Harrison's out. What's up, Piggly Wiggly? So, yeah, basically, really, we have Mackenzie Dern maybe against someone. I don't even know who it would be. Natalia Silva versus Valentina Shevchenko. I could see that being a possibility. It could be maybe Shevchenko versus Natalia Silva. Breaking, Evloev out. Gene stepping in due to visa issues. I don't believe that, because I would have definitely heard about it already. But, good try. Yeah, I definitely would have heard about it already. Definitely not the case, but good try. Max smokes Patty and BSD. Yeah, well, I think Patty, yeah. Although, I don't know, I actually think they should do the Patty matchup. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I think they should do Patty Pimblett versus Max Holloway, because Max Holloway, he lost against Charles Oliveira by the grappling, and what did Patty lose to? It was the boxing with the, takedown defense, pressure. So it's kind of like they're both getting a chance to go up against what they lost against last time, and their opposite styles. It's kind of funny. So I think that would be good. May 9th, we make the world cry. Why is the world going to cry? Oh, Hamzat, I see. You're a Hamzat. I kind of get it. Well, who knows? It could. I think it will be Hamzat. I think Hamzat will be returned May 9th, which thank God, because there was a lot of talk of, oh, when is he gonna fight? He's so inactive. Yeah, he fought in August. I guess that's already a decent amount of time, but at least it's not a year. At least we're hitting under a year, which it was looking like at one point it was going to be longer. Dana White announcing every fight, everything's super late. Yeah, now we might be strapped in for a bit. Oh, Dana White just posted a link on YouTube, a link to stream the fight announcement. The fight is here.
Miami, let's go! Bring on the heat!
We're here. We're gonna react right now. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's announced right now. Let's get into this, guys. Let's get into this, y'all. We're gonna watch it right here, right now. All right.
Prohaska, the guy rides on chaos. Carlos Ober, this man is future champion written all over him. Joshua Baird, the second youngest champion next to Jon Jones.
All right, guys, let's take a look.
Tatsuro Taira, a superstar.
Guys can hear well.
Looking to become his nation's first UFC champion.
All right, let's keep the chat here. Patty will definitely start doing more BJJ and take.
Hey everybody, welcome inside our studio in the Meta Apex in Las Vegas. Brandon Fitzgerald joined today by UFC CEO Dana White and the Hall of Famer Michael Bisping. We're going to lay out the schedule for you from April through UFC Freedom 250 in June. A lot of action-packed Saturdays.
All right, guys.
Coming up Saturday, April 11th from the Kaseya Center in Miami. It's UFC 327.
Doing announcement as a video.
We know about the two big title fights in terms of where to watch them. That's where we have some news, Dana.
So 4 fights will air on CBS. That's the last 2 prelim fights and the first 2 fights on the main card, including the main event between Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker. Those guys have 32 finishes combined, plus undefeated Azamat Murzakanov against Paulo Costa, who's moving up to 205 pounds, and that guy is never in a boring fight. Coverage on CBS goes from 8 p.m.
I already got a
to
little
10 p.m.
announcement
Eastern,
already.
And you can watch the entire
I'm gonna put my
card
phone down.
on Paramount Plus.
Let's get to that main event, Michael.
I already found out one of the main
Yuri
events.
Prohaska and Carlos.
Like I said, I got notifications everywhere, guys. So breaking news, I'll be the first one on.
This is the best fight that you can make in the light heavyweight division.
Okay, this is Glaze.
On the flip side,
are y'all going to be skipping this?
His name on that, put a bookmark there. We'll get to him in a few moments. After that, we head to Winnipeg for the first time since 2017, where Mike Malott at home in Canada takes on Gilbert Burns.
No surprise there. We all knew this.
Saturday, April 20th.
Have another announcement as we switch to later in April, Dana, and a main event.
Saturday, April 25th on Paramount Plus, Aljamain Sterling versus Yusuf Zalal.
Okay,
yeah, that's a great fight, Dana, because obviously Aljamain Sterling, the long-time bantamweight champion. Yeah, but this is a we
can't show this.
Western Australia, and 2 weeks ago we announced the main event: Jack Della Maddalena versus Carlos Prates.
Right, I turned it down. Thank you.
I mean, come on, who doesn't love
okay, Beneil Dariush versus Qualin Silkild. Is that who is that?
When a champion goes Maddalena, the former champion, going back to Perth.
Bro, no way. Are they trying to kill Beneil Dariush?
Home city, the people are going to go absolutely
Bro, they're trying to kill Beneil Dariush right now. What is going on?
Beautiful work to the body, excellent footwork and angles.
But
against Carlos Prates, he's going to have to be like.
I can't even show all this. I gotta be careful. We don't get taken down. That is crazy. I thought Qualin Silkild was a welterweight for some reason, but oh my god, that's a good fight though. That's a good fight, given that he's from Australia and he was gonna fight. I forgot someone else, but the fight got canceled.
13 finishes, 5 KOs.
Forgot who was it that he was gonna fight.
Nothing but the best. But on the flip side, we got Quillan Salkid, 11-1 overall on a 10-fight win streak, and of course coming off 2 back-to-back Malarkey. That was insane.
Perth, Western Australia, exciting that they'll get a primetime Saturday night UFC fight card for the first time. That leads to May 9th and UFC 328. The
now, don't worry, I'm not looking at the phone at all.
New Jersey, where a UFC championship will be on the line.
Hamzat versus Sean Strickland. Well, this one, I'm not going to lie, this is one that got spoiled, but still. Oh, Sean Strickland. Okay, so we got the card. Oh. Hurts like a dagger. Hurts like a dagger when we were talking about Merab versus Jan 3, man. This is our co-main event. Oh, my goodness. I mean, this is... I don't mind the fight, but a co-main event... Oh, God, let's take a look at this, guys. Hamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. Okay. That's fine, whatever. Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Okay. Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. I like that fight. Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. That's okay. Green versus Jeremy Stevens. I mean, it's okay.
It comes against the former champ, Sean
missing something,
what
but
a matchup.
there are some fun fights on there.
It's a big one between Alexander Volkov.
These pay-per-views used to tickle the pickle in some ways.
Going to be a main event.
I'm hyped for the press conference for this fight.
And then King Green and Jeremy Stevens.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna skip.
What a matchup for the middleweight title.
Fun card, and obviously the main event.
I like this though. At least shout out to the UFC for actually doing some production with this shit. You know, doing this at a studio.
You know.
Breaking.
How much security do you think we're gonna need?
Quite a lot, Danny. You need to hire.
And they got a guy like they got like Bisping. We were talking about this on the channel, having like more guys like this kind of hype up the
Alexander
events.
Fluffy Hernandez last time out was just unbelievable. Finished him with that beautiful knee.
Okay, I don't know anything else. That's the only thing I know. Everything else, I didn't know the card.
To the Meta Apex and a main event.
Oh.
Yeah, Allen versus Costa. Featherweight fight. Arnold Allen and Melky Costa.
What the heck?
Yeah, Arnold Allen, I love
oh, shit. I like that. Oh, my God. Okay, that's a good fight. Don't like that it's at the Apex, but yeah. Yeah, I was going to say Melky Zile is more of his name. What did he say? Melky Z? What did he say? Melky? What the fuck was that? Melky? But no, I was talking about him a few weeks ago. I love that. Oh, and we got a fight night. Main event, we got a card announcement. We got Song versus Figueiredo, so Song Yadong versus Davison Figueiredo. We got Zhang versus Menefield. Okay, that's a good fight as well. And Pavlovich versus Taliesin Teixeira. Not a bad fight either. That made sense. Okay.
Saturday, the headliner at bantamweight is what we're here for.
Imavov. This
Davison
is what happened, bro.
This is a great fight.
Wait,
Davison Figueiredo, of course, a long-time champion. He's been in there with nothing but the best, trying to become a two-weight division champion in the bantamweight division. Yes, he's known for the jiu-jitsu, but the dive team.
Yeah, that's not a bad fight.
Hong Min Yang against Alonzo Menefield in the co-headliner.
Not a bad fight.
Heavyweight return to Macau. First, we have to make the announcement for June 6th right here in Las Vegas in the main event at welterweight, Dana.
Another welterweight main event, Bilal Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim.
Oh, okay.
This is a crazy fight, Dana. Gabriel Bonfim,
crazy fight. Bisping says this is a crazy fight. I don't know about that, but okay.
Live from the White House.
This is a crazy fight.
UFC Freedom 250.
Wait, what?
Live from the White House. It is UFC.
Oh, is this a new fight for Freedom 250? Freedom 250. Oh, well, we already know this. Topuria, imagine Topuria versus Islam. We got it done. No, then yeah. Okay, yeah, we know this. Pereira versus. Yeah, if it's been glazing too much, that goes without saying. Yeah.
An embarrassment of riches, superstars across the.
Okay, well that no changes. Absolutely no changes. Oh, that's the same.
June 14th event.
So we're just recapping it.
Yeah, one of the things that we wanted to do when we were building this card was, put on fights that actually mean something in the division. And what do you think? What's your opinion of Cyril Gane and Alex Pereira?
Well, truly, I think it's a better fight than Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones. I know a lot of people wanted that. But you got to think that Jon Jones probably would have just tried to wrestle him. We saw that last week with the BMF. We're going to see Cyril Gane and Alex Pereira having a world-class kickboxing match in 4-ounce gloves. And I know we hate to say this because it's kind of cursing it, but I guarantee that is going to be a ridiculous fight.
Yeah, I used to always have a guarantee that there were certain fights you saw that you're like, it's impossible for this not to be good. And then the BMF title happened, last week. But, Pereira and Cyril Gane is very interesting. I never loved Pereira moving up to heavyweight, but he wants it bad. This guy always wants to fight. Cyril Gane moves like a middleweight. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, especially coming off the performance right up until the eye poke that he had, against Tom Aspinall. So it's a fun fight. It's obviously very interesting.
What Tom Aspinall feel about that?
If Alex can win this fight, first 3-division champ ever.
A 3-weight division champion. That is absolutely insane. Of course, main event, Justin Gaethje taking on Ilia Topuria. That fight made a ton of sense. Of course, he's the...
Okay, we all know this.
Opening up stoppages, going up again.
Octagon is going to be great. Dana, a lot's been made of the ticket situation on the White House lawn, and the tickets won't be for sale. That doesn't mean fight fans can't flock to D.C. and have a great time.
Yeah, I don't know how many UFC fans have actually been to D.C., but it's a great city, and we're going to have all kinds of activations going on that week. I mean, White House is late as a person. It's going to be actually a fight. For those of
I wish I had an excuse to go. Sounds like there might be
1,000 tickets.
Could steal a few, get ahead.
Okay, what is this? Oh, no, these are... I thought that was Dan Hooker for a second. I thought that was Dan Hooker. I was like, wait, what the hell is this?
Feeling you're probably going to be there. I'm assuming.
I would like to be.
I'm assuming Zach is going to bring you out there.
The 250-year anniversary and all that, I think it's only fitting.
Yeah, you should be real excited about, when we left England and came over here.
Hey. Of course,
Every 4th of July.
I know. And the abuse never ends. Every 4th of July, I get all these memes and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. Well, UFC Freedom 250.
All right, well, I guess that's pretty much it. This is the next event. Okay. Yeah, what announcement came off? I don't know what that means, but all right. So we got our announcements. We got our big announcements, guys, ladies and gents. Let me make myself bigger again. We got our announcements. We got... you're awesome, bro. No problem, bro. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for saying that. Come on, you guys know I wasn't going to turn off the announcement. What the hell? We're going to watch it together. I'm so excited for Moicano versus the year. I'm so excited for him versus the year. What? Yeah, so Sean Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev was the big news that was announced. That's probably the biggest piece of news. I'm curious to see Imavov's reaction. What Imavov is going to say. Will Imavov have to get another fight? Why wasn't Imavov selected? Was it really just because there isn't hype with him? Did he decline? What's going on? Where is Chimaev fight, bro? It just came. It had been announced. We just reacted to the whole thing. But I'll show you here, at least actually. Right here, that it was announced by Dana White that Sean Strickland is going to be fighting Khamzat Chimaev. So we have that fight to look forward to. This was Dana White
and obviously the main
talking about how much security they're going to need for it and this and that. Yeah, that's going to be a lot. Then we also had Bilal Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim. Beneil Dariush versus Quaylen Selkilde. We got the whole card, which is definitely worth talking about. Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. Then we had the heavyweight, Sean Brady, Joaquin Buckley, which got moved. He was going to be a Apex main event, but now it is on a pay-per-view. Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov, and King Graham versus Jeremy Stevens. So this announcement was not a disappointment. It was probably on par with what I expected, to maybe a little more. It didn't, and I wasn't expecting a lot. I really was not going into this. It really wasn't anything. I was hoping that they would come with a surprise. Nothing really was a shock. The main event wasn't a shock. And even then, I felt like I was talking about at one point, I feel like a fool thinking back, but I was talking about Petr Yan, Merab. Maybe they do main event, Khamzat, Sean Strickland, co-main event, Petr Yan versus Merab 3. You put on, and the rest of this card would have been amazing with this. So that would have been a great card. I would have been like, okay, that's a pretty fun fight. That's a pretty fun fight card. A good heavyweight fight, too. It'll be interesting to see, what the winner of that is going to do in this whole thing, because then a month later will be the White House card where there's an interim champ. So we have a number one contender, an interim champ, and a champ. So that's going to be a little difficult, but I mean, we'll see what happens there. Maybe there's another interim title or something. But, none of these fights are, wow, what the fuck? It's, I would say the most interesting is Bobby Green versus Jeremy Stephens. That's an interesting fight. I mean, I'm surprised just because, Jeremy Stephens, he fought last time in the UFC. I wasn't sure if it was a one-and-done type thing or he was going to continuously fight. He's back. He's fighting again, so that's 2 OGs. It's going to be a good fight to start off with. Bobby Green obviously had a really good last fight where he got a knockout. Let me see what you guys are saying. Where is Hamzat? Where's Chimaev fight, bro? I came. What do you mean Topuria exposed? So we were talking about this in the beginning of the stream that people were saying, oh, Ilia Topuria got exposed by his manager, which wasn't the case. I debunked it, so he's not really exposed. But I explained it a little earlier. It was just about the Islam stuff, about declining the fight, this, that. Hamzat versus Sean was the biggest news. No, that was definitely the biggest news. But also at the same time, it wasn't a shock. Like, was rumored. Sub Boss, what's up? Imavov, that's what happens for staying quiet. Yeah, that's probably what it was. I think it was probably, we're giving you the sweep. Everyone was asking for Jan and Bogdan rematch. I know, I was surprised to see that. I'm like, what the heck? That was weird. I want Pereira to beat Gane and then Aspinall to beat him and Gane in a rematch. I see. Okay, so you want Pereira to win against Gane and then Aspinall, Gane, and then Aspinall. I mean, you want Pereira versus Gane, Pereira to win, Aspinall, Pereira, and then Aspinall, Gane. I got you. Everyone was asking for Jan Bogdan rematch. Oh, no, I read that. Jan is such a technician with his boxing. Beautiful. I didn't join earlier to hear it. Thanks for explaining. No problem. You're a goat. So not really too many big. We got a few, events, a few this, that. It was really just the next 9 events, which we pretty much all knew was going on. Sean Strickland gets another title shot. I'm just excited to see, Hamzat fight. I'm excited to see this title reign. I don't care who it's against. Let's just get the ball rolling. Let's get some title defenses. Let's see how far he can go. Let's see more. I'm curious. Hamzat has been big for how long, but I still have so many questions about him, and I still want to see him, and will he run through Sean Strickland? It's possible. You could finish him in the first round. I think it's going to be interesting, and that's why I think why Hamzat is as big as he is because he really could finish you in the first round. You're just there like, could Sean Strickland get finished in the first round? Or it can wind up being a decision. Now, if it's a decision, I think the more decisions will start to hurt Hamzat. But as of right now, he has a reputation of like, I could choke you out in the first round. Look at Robert Whittaker. DDP, he's a good opponent. He's a tough guy for Hamzat. He's a tough matchup. So was that just the fact that DDP was a tough matchup and now, he's really going to fuck people up? I'm interested in it. And I'm glad that Hamzat's fighting. The co-main event, Alexander Volkov, Waldo Cortez Acosta, I like. I like that we're actually getting fights in the heavyweight division that make sense. Like, there is some logic behind this. Okay, there is logic, but at the same time, the timing couldn't be worse because Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta, the winner of that's going to be the number one contender, but there's an interim title the next month, and then you have to wait for them to fight Aspinall, and then what? The winner of this will fight Aspinall? I mean, we're talking about maybe a year. So even though there is some logic, there also isn't at the same time, but the heavyweight division has truly been just fucked up from Jon Jones. We are still in overlap of Jon Jones just fucking up the heavyweight division, like, we're delayed still. Like, it's not going to be sorted for a long time, When you fuck with these things, it could be delayed a long time. A lot of people backed up. There's a long line now. That's what we're seeing with Jon Jones. I mean, look at it this way. I consider that Tom Aspinall defended his title against Curtis Blades, But we haven't even really seen a Tom Aspinall technical title defense yet, that he technically hasn't defended his title, which is just shows how much Jon Jones delayed this whole thing. As much as I dislike blankets like Hamzat being inactive ones, he controlled DDP for 5 rounds and DDP beat Sean. Yeah, but to be fair, the question is, I feel like, can Sean not get finished on the ground? And I don't know. I really can't even make an argument for Sean Strickland. I really think that this guy is probably going to lose. Yeah, I think that he might be screwed. Sean Strickland. He might be cooked, guys. What do y'all think, though? Do you guys think that this is a good fight? Are you guys glad that this fight is announced? Look, it's a good fight. I wish that there was a little more to it. If this just seems to be, this is May, correct? Right? This is for the May pay-per-view, May 9th. We are 5 months, we're May into the year, and it just feels like this is the quality of pay-per-views we've constantly been getting. It's like, it's good, but we're missing something. It's like, it's lazy. It's bare minimum. There isn't that shocking, oh, wow, this fight, oh, what? There's that match. Like, none of that is there. Hamzat, I would have much rather him, to be honest, gone to light heavyweight than this. I would have rather him fought Yuri. I was a fan of that. I felt like I'm not really too interested in seeing Hamzat fight at middleweight, but I'm just glad that he's fighting in general. Let's just get this guy fighting. Let's get this going. And yeah, maybe Sean will win if he has the flu during their face-off. Yeah, I think Sean's gonna need a miracle. Sean's gonna need a lot of help from the great beyond, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up though, so type any questions you guys got before I end this. Yeah, we're gonna be it's gonna be tough, man. Gonna be tough for Sean. And we'll see. Eventually we'll get, I guess, International Fight Week probably announced. So that, I think that we might be like another month away or so from. So as always, guys, too, before we wrap up, this is the podcast, the Mic Check, my podcast. You guys see here. Come on, go chap in. It's in the link in the description. You guys can go tune in there and support if y'all want to check it out. If y'all don't, then they'll just cry or something. I don't know. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I wish that there was a little more. I just do. I wish that the UFC, seems like that they are kind of, it's just the same recycled stuff. Oh, we get a title fight and some decent fights underneath, and we call it a day. It's like, I want more. I want excitement. And it's May already. By this point, we should be getting at least something crazy. I'll come back. Who do you have, Mobzar or Lerone? I don't know. I'm kind of leaning Mobzar, but you never know. Lerone has been looking really good, though, too. But I don't know. I think Mobzar, perhaps. I'm excited for that fight, though. I like that fight a lot. And I'm excited to see whoever wins that. We'll fight Volkanovski. Maybe it'll be in August. Maybe it'll be in September. We'll see. What's up, Apache? Yo, what's up? But yeah, we didn't actually have to wait all that long. It was only an hour. So it was a good wait. Good wait from Mr. White. Shout out to Daner. I'm going to be dipping out now. And it was good to react. I'm glad that we got my reaction. I was hoping that there would be maybe more exciting things to react to. Like, oh my God, Jon Jones is returning. Conor McGregor. I don't know, something crazy. But there wasn't, so it is what it is. But as you guys know, I go live whenever there's some news. So if there's ever news, come here, or even better, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, do everything you got to do to support me. Follow me on Twitter too as well. Also, you can join the Discord. All those are great methods to find out when I'm going live, when I upload, all this and that. So guys, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are amazing. And, yeah. L announcement, guys. Love y'all. We're going to wrap it up here. And I'll see y'all later. Peace out. Beep.